Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant and welcome to this video. So today we are going to be continuing what we were doing on our project. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. And so this is what we're trying to do, right? And we are just focusing on this part of the project. So we don't care about the API gateway, we don't care about the consumer resource, we don't care about any of this. We just care about trying to get this microservice right here, supply resource, to be able to talk to this database. Now, we have not created this database yet, and this supply resource, it's just initialized by Spring. So that's all we've done is we created a microservice for this supply resource. Haven't done anything else. There's no API endpoints, nothing. So in this video, what I'm going to try to do is take this here, producer resource, this blank microservice that I just plopped in from Spring Initializer, and try to get it to have an API endpoint. So the first question that I have is, first off, like, what happens if I just run it, right? Like, let's come here, and I'm gonna make myself a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's just try, like, I need to get into the microservice, right? So cd producer resource, and then there should be a Maven file, which is right there. So I need to run that Maven. So mvnw, and then spring boot run. Remember, I have not added anything to this project, so let's just see what it does. Okay. And exits. Okay, well, there we go. So one of the things that I've been playing around with Spring Boot a little bit before I started making these making this project, right? And one of the things that I always was very confused about is, well, I have this main file here, or function here, and how does it know to start a server, right? And I didn't pay as much attention to it as I should have, but you know what? This kind of what we're doing here with the project is we're building something and trying to learn along the way, and so let's try to get that. Oh, right. Last time I was looking at the workspaces, but let's ask that. So now I just initialized a Spring Boot microservice with Spring Initializer. It is a blank. It's a blank. Not document, but project. How can I get it to have REST API endpoints? Okay, so that's our goal in this video, is to get API endpoints and to understand how does that actually get called and executed. Okay, that's kind of what I'm. Okay, so we need to add this dependency to our POM file. I remember doing that in the past. Yes, that makes sense. So we're adding this dependency that just allows me to use it, right? And then I create a controller class. Again, I remember doing all of these things, but I don't intuitively understand, when I press run, why does it actually perform the operation, right? For example, in Node.js, you have something which is .listen. And when I run that command, when I run my file, I come bing, 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 hit that listen. There, I understand. It's doing its server operations because I did that line there. But with Java, it seems different. I build out the structure, and then I never call it. And I know, because I've been investigating this, I know that there's something called beans, and Spring Boot does like dependency injection, and I know that, but I don't intuitively feel it, you know? So, okay, so we're gonna have this controller class, and then we can just run it, I guess. Expand to more endpoints. Let's just get the basic thing. So we're gonna get this dependency, put this in our POM file. That's just like doing an include. That's whatever. Where to go? Dependencies. Here we are. Okay, paste that in there. All right, so now do I need to refresh that? No, okay, whatever. Save it. Okay, so now if I just run it again, it should still exit, right? I do see Tomcat where it's not exiting. Tomcat started. That's where I saw Tomcat. Okay. I knew I saw it somewhere in my peripheral vision. I just didn't see exactly where it was. So it's not exiting. Okay. So that's the question I'm going to come back and ask here. So I'm going to say before I added, see, because what I was thinking initially is with the dependency injection, I was thinking that, okay, well, I add this class here, hello controller, and I call this REST controller, and that does some kind of behind the scenes dependency injection that Spring Boot is automatically taking care of, and that's why I didn't need to call it, because when I do Spring Boot run, it looks for all of these things that it needs to create, and then that's how it does the dot listen, essentially. That's where it executes it, because it knows that a controller, okay, well, now I need to do that operation. That's what I thought this video was going. And then I was about to do both at the same time. I was about to put this dependency in there and then just do the controller. It would have stopped, right? And I would have said, oh, there we go. It proved it, but it didn't prove it. And I'm so glad that I put this dependency in there, and I was considering just not even running it again, because I was like, this is just like doing a hashtag include. Like, okay, I'm just including a library. What does that have to do with it? But it did. Oh, okay. Isolating your variables, huh? Okay. There we are. Before I added this to my POM file, I did the, okay, maven w spring boot run, and the program ran successfully and completed. It did not listen for any endpoints, or like, it wasn't listening. Listen, and inside of an infinite while loop. I don't know how to say that. Inside of an infinite while Okay. But when I put that dependence, or those lines in my POM and ran the code, all of a sudden it is listening. As to my current understanding, all those lines do is the same as Python's like hashtag in, wait, it's not hashtag include, I think it's just include or whatever. Include library name. This is not executable. By the way, I noticed like it's almost 2:30. That's fine. We're having a good time. This is not executable code. I think, well, I mean, technically it is executable code, but it's not like, I think you guys know what I mean. It's not being like, it's not a command. It's like, include this. It's not running. This is not executable code. So why would this cause my Spring Boot to behave differently? Like, what I mean by not executable is I can have a Python file and my one line of code is like print hello world. I can have 1,000 include statements and it doesn't change the behavior or operation of my program. It just allows me access to that library. But I guess technically when you do the include, it does go into those files, right? Maybe I should investigate a little bit about that as well. Okay. So you're absolutely right in drawing parallels to Python's import statements in terms of functionality. The difference lies in what's being imported and how Spring Boot behaves when certain dependencies are present. Here's what's going on under the hood. All right, let me reread that because I didn't quite understand it. So the difference lies in what's being imported. Okay, that's the difference. What is being imported and how Spring Boot behaves when certain dependencies are present. So Spring Boot changes its operation and the way it behaves based off of what dependencies are there. All right, so how much did it write? All right, okay. So what did I include? I included Spring Boot Starter Web, which is right there, Spring Boot Starter Web. So I included this, and now it's going to tell me what's inside of it. So this starter isn't just one library, it brings a whole suite of other libraries that together create the web environment. Okay, so it creates Spring MVC, which is what, like Model View Controller, I think it is, which enables building web apps. Okay, Tomcat, which is the actual embedded server. Okay, that's what I saw. I said, hey, there's Tomcat. Okay, Jackson for JSON serialization. Okay, so validation of APIs. Okay, it includes all of that. So when you add these dependencies, you're not adding method definitions or utility classes, you're pulling in components that actually start the web. Okay, so I think what it's telling me is that normally when I include something in like Python or C++ or, well, I don't work much with C++. Well, actually I do. Arduino is technically C++. Don't that'll get some people upset, but anyways. But the main one that I use, except for like Python, Java, and JavaScript, but besides those, is C. So when I do an include in all of those other languages, it's taking in the definitions. And that's why it's not changing its functionality, because I'm just including definitions. I'm just saying like, yeah, this function exists. And then it's up to me to call the function. That makes sense. But now what this is seemingly telling me is that actually putting that dependency in, this does change the operation, because I'm not just doing definitions. I'm not just including definitions. And somehow this, I'm guessing inside of here, it's starting the server itself. Okay, so when I include it, it says, aha, I'm gonna start. Are you ready for me? If you're ready, or if you're not, here I am. Okay, interesting. So why your app started listening. Once Spring Boot detects the presence of a web server, like Tomcat, for the starter, it automatically boots up the servlet container, starts listening on the standard port, awaits the request. Okay, so before adding the dependency, your project likely had no web service. Yeah, there was nothing because it was blank. So Spring Boot just did a quick startup and exited. Okay. This is intentional behavior. Spring Boot is designed to be opinionated, meaning it configures based on what dependencies you include. Okay. But I want to understand more exactly how Spring Boot decided and what it is actually executing. How does adding those lines create the effect of starting the server? Which is located inside of that package. Oh, there we go. It is 2:30. Okay, I can feel it. So, which is located inside of that. Although it's also kind of fun to, when you're really tired and you're just vibing. I don't mean vibe coding, although we're using AI obviously, but I just mean like, vibing, having a good time, relaxed. I don't know, I kind of like it. When you're just like, just chill. So, which is located inside of the package. Spring Boot starter web. Okay. Let's just copy and paste that in there. Go! So, you're digging into the, okay, whatever. Step by step, how does Spring Boot decide to start a web server? So dependency detection via class path. Spring Boot, when I do Spring Boot run, I'm calling Spring Boot, and so it scans my class path at startup. When it sees classes like dispatcher servlet, Tomcat servlet web server factory, okay, web MVC configurer, it assumes you're building a web app. So it sees that these things exist, okay, and then changes its operations based off of that, which actually is kind of similar to what I was saying up, where'd it go? Up here a little, where'd it go? When I was rest control, here, when I was saying about the dependency injection, and it sees this annotation and says, bam, I'm going to create this and I'm going to do this under, remember, that's kind of what I was saying. Now I think what's going on is I'm including a whole bunch of other like files and classes. And those classes probably have annotations and they tell Spring Boot, hey, I'm a server. And now this gives Spring Boot context to say, hey, there's a server class. That must mean that this person is trying to start up a web server. So I need to build it and I need to set up that web server. And then it does, because it's there, because there's an annotation in the Spring Boot web starter, okay? I think that's what's going on. I was right here. Tomcat embedded server initialization. So it sees the, yep. See, it creates that bean, which is the dependency injections. It spins up an embedded Tomcat instance, yeah, and binds it to the default port. This is done via, okay. Spring registers this to handle HTTP requests, it maps routes, okay. So when I run this, great, it loads my main method via the run, okay? And then it looks for, scans for configuration, classes, and beans. So that means kind of like the REST controller and other classes that have been annotated in a certain way. It detects the presence of this Spring Boot starter web, which I added there, and this triggers the servlet web server factory auto configuration. Oh my goodness, that's a mouthful. Which creates the embedded Tomcat server, okay, registers it as a bean, and starts listening for HTTP requests. Okay. This will show you which auto configuration classes were applied and what were skipped. Let's run it. Let's see what's up. Alright, let's run this. Okay, let's Control C. Shutting down mock lock. Semaphore. Okay, so I'm curious, like, does Java do a lot with those multi-threading and all of the locks, like semaphores and locks, and I'm curious, I don't know if Java does a lot with that, but I just see semaphores and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my. Okay, I producer resource dependency starts. Oh. Okay, well, that's something. I'm not, that's fine, that's fine. Let's, I know that we'll, from here, right, I need to create a new folder. Okay, so let's get the actual REST API. So source main Java, com example, demo, all of that. Okay, so let's try to get this Does this need to be like in the, where does this need to live? So I remember doing it in like a separate folder. It was like controller or something like that. I can't remember what the actual name was. Now I am trying to add this controller. I remember previously I put these controllers into a group, all in the same folder. How should I structure my project for all of this? Because I also know that there was like a view or something. I might be mixing my Node.js and my Java. I might be mixing things up a little bit, but I remember that both of them had the same idea, which was you have the model and the views and the controllers. Okay, so yeah, so project name, yep, so controller and then hello controller, service here. So these are the controllers, this is the routes. Okay, service, this is the logic, and then repository and models. Okay, so controller, service, repository, and model. I'm going to create all of those even if I don't have anything inside of them yet. So controller, service, okay, so. And inside of controller, I wanted hello controller.java. Can I just do, where is it? I saw something that said like class, create a class. New Java project, no. I saw something, never mind. I'll just create the class myself. Hello what? Hello controller? Yeah, .java, okay. Okay. Now that should here, and now I need to say about package, right? Package, and it needs to be com.example.timothy.producer, right? Dot controller. No. So this is something that I kept running into. A lot of the problems is like, so it still doesn't like this. If I just did this, produce, does it like that? No. Okay. So, like all of the videos that I've ever watched, they never start from main or Java, but for some reason, mine, I have to do that. Um, but now, even this one doesn't like what I have here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. What if I just do like, what if I just do this again? I don't know. Okay, so it. Oh, oh, hold up. Do I need a? Is that really what it is? I was. Uh, what's up? Location main class. That's the previous one. Okay. What if I did just do that? Is it going to complain at me? Yeah. Let's just do it again. You're still gonna be unhappy, right? Yeah, just as I suspected. Okay. Let's. I'm gonna come in here and just copy and paste this error in there and see what's up. Well, it's thinking. I'm gonna come back up here and see the other stuff. So service, and then so from here I can have service. Okay. And then what was the other one that it said? Like repository and model. Okay. Repository. No, not inside of repository. Inside here. Model. Okay. So I have all of those. And now controller placement tip. Annotate each here. Define paths using request mapping, get mapping, post mapping. Okay. It's fine. So then the error. Spring annotation like REST controller. Oh, because I didn't do those including stuff. Okay. Did I need to change my palm? That's, well, I already have it. Okay. I think it was like this. I think this is, come on, please. Yes. Got it. Yes. Okay. Let's try to hit this hello. Do I need to do API hello? I guess we'll find out. So, the localhost 8080. So, just change that, okay. And now I hit this, and then try to say maybe API hello. Okay. What if I just do hello? Okay. Did it say any? So port 8080, and it should be localhost. So see, it's even telling me not to do the main Java, but every time I do that, I get the error. So for the controller that I showed you, what is the thing, or what is the URL I should put in my browser to get the response? Okay. I mean, that's what I did, but it's not. Did I misspell something? I don't know. Come on, please. Is it something to do with, like, I have the... Do I need to put... What would happen if I did something very similar, like from producer, I created a new one, second.java, okay, whatever. And then from here, I just did this entire thing again. Okay, copy and paste this into here. I need to change this. No longer in controller, I'm just in resource. I want to include those. I want to include this as well. And then this class is... No, I don't want two hello controllers. Testing 1. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna. Why'd you? What? Why are you upset now? Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna try. Oh, 'cause it's the same one, right? API 2. Is that why you were upset at me? Hello 2. I'm just gonna try to do this, and then I need to maybe save this, run it, okay, and then try to just get that from here. So localhost and then API 2, hello 2. So I got something. I saw this change, but it did not. Okay. Get rid of you. Are you happy now? Oh, come on, you were just happy. You were... Does not match. Oh, why did it get an extra controller there? What is going on? Why is it red though? Import exception. One token. Am I just seeing something? Which is... Okay, let me just see if there's something like obviously wrong. I'm not... Is there something wrong with this? So it's telling me not to do that, but I need to do that. Well, it's just an unhappy, it's just unhappy in general, with life. It's a non-project file. Package. And then it should start with main, or with calm. Example dot Timothy dot producer resource dot controller. Like, this should be correct. Which is exactly what I thought I just had. And why is this one whited out? Okay. So now I'm gonna control out of this. I'm gonna start it up again. Hopefully it works. Okay. Come here. Those don't exist anymore, so I'm gonna come here. It appears as if my controller class was not picked up by Spring Boot. When I try to those endpoints, I get nothing. Is there a way to see if a bean was created for those endpoints? Does the package, does the location of the class actually matter to Spring Boot? Because I'm thinking maybe I put it in a bad thing. or a bad location, and now it's like not able to identify it. So is picky about where it looks for components. If your controller isn't within the right package hierarchy, it won't get here. Okay, so Spring Boot application. Okay, that's where our main is. Okay, if you put it in a package like this, Spring won't find it unless you explicitly tell it where to look for. Okay, fix. Again, if I do that, I get an error. How to verify the Spring? I mean, I can do that. I'll just get an error for it. So, I don't know, man. Like, what do you want from me? Package. And what did it say to do? Like, I'll just copy and paste the entire thing. Because it's not going to work. Wait, it's the same thing. Spring won't find it, yeah. And what is it? It says that this is the correct one. So it's not going to work. It's not going to like it. It's going to give me an error. Ah, it didn't give me an error. Why did it not give me an error? Okay, let's come back to here and let's refresh it. What is going on, man? Why what is going on? So this is squigglied red. And I remember getting an error because of this, and I needed to do, and not, I remember getting an error because of this in like whatever, like a month ago when I was first working with Spring Boot. And I fixed it by doing this, but now it doesn't want that, but it does want it because it's squiggly, but then it's working anyways. Okay, and now all of this is red, but it's working. Okay, well, I think I am going to leave it off here for today's video. It is past 3 a.m., so I'll probably get to sleep. But it was a fun day. Got, I guess, a lot finished, explored some stuff, and moved forward with the project. So happy. And yeah, if you want to subscribe, do so. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you in the next video, and we're going to try to figure this out. Okay, bye.